Michelle here, and you have made it to the very last of my 8-part mini-series, little mini podcasts, all for Thyroid Awareness Month in May. So thank you, whether this is the first video you've come across or you've watched all 7, almost 8, I want to say thank you very much. And if you have learned something new about thyroid health, if you've talked to someone about thyroid health while you've listened to this, if you've shared any of these videos, then I want to say, well done. Congratulations. Thank you for being part of spreading thyroid health awareness, because like we said back in video 1, a lot of people, 1 in 6, it seems, have a thyroid condition at some point in their life, and that's a lot of people, and a lot of people don't know that. So the more we talk about thyroid health and symptoms and testing and our own experiences and journeys and ups and downs and trials and tribulations, the more people get helped, because they might think, well, maybe I do have a thyroid condition. Now I know the right tests to go and ask for. I'm going to insist on those antibody tests. I'm going to understand that I do have to get T4, T3 tested. And then if they do find they have a thyroid condition, then as a result of maybe something that you've shared or talked about, over these last few videos, then they maybe will understand then that there's so many things that they can do to help feel better and manage their thyroid health well. So I want to say a very big thank you for sticking with me and sharing and just listening and learning. And I want to invite you definitely to be part of the Let's Talk Thyroid community, which really exists in many different forms. Probably there's 2 main forms the Let's Talk Thyroid community exists in. One is if you're a regular podcast listener or YouTube watcher. That's the way I get to speak to you directly and invite some guests onto the Let's Talk Thyroid podcast. I do a lot of interviews and longer form podcast interviews. These little short ones is just been a fun experiment for Thyroid Awareness Month. I do tend to, the other episodes are longer and the interviews are longer, because there's so much depth into all of these different aspects of living with thyroid health conditions. So if you're not yet a listener of the longer form podcast, I would highly recommend that you do, because there's just a wealth of knowledge now built up in all the podcast episodes. We're well into almost 100 episodes. There's a lot of resource, a lot of expertise, a lot of experience that's been shared on the podcast. So I encourage you to go back. The first kind of 10 to 15 episodes are fairly foundational. So if you are new to thyroid health issues, I do recommend you go back. You don't have to listen to every single episode, but if you go back to the beginning, you'll see I've tried to lay the foundation of, I guess, what I believe is part of living well with a thyroid condition. And there's some key interviews in those first few episodes as well, including with my own doctor, which is a really good one. And my I've got 2 naturopath friends, but one of them is on that beginning part as well. There's Chinese medicine perspectives. So there's some good core information in those first few episodes, first 10 to 15 or so. Now, and the second main area of my Let's Talk Thyroid community would be my Facebook group, which is called the Let's Talk Thyroid community. If you just search for Let's Talk Thyroid or me, Annabelle Bateman, on Facebook, you'll find it. Obviously, you can follow me on social media, Facebook or Instagram. I am active. It's annabelle.bateman.wellness is my tag on or handle on both of those. So that's how you can stay connected. You can join my email list. So if you go to my website, you'll find there's a pop-up. You can join the email list. I really mostly email just every second Thursday when the podcasts come out. Occasionally, if I've got something coming up, like a course or special event, then I will definitely share a few more emails. But I like to think that I don't over email people on my email list, so you're very welcome to join that too. And like I said last time, when you do, you'll get a copy of that thyroid checklist. Now, what I really want to cover in this bit of a wrap up, I mean, obviously that's part of the wrap up, is where to from here, and to connect you in with some good resources. Because if you are exploring thyroid health, you're fairly new to thyroid health, then, like we said in the last episode about building a support team, you will need to have some resources. And there's lots of great resources out there, but you do need to know where to look. And there's, I guess there's a lot of, there can be some unhelpful information too. So I do want to remind you of the resources page I have on my website. So if you go to letstalkthyroid.com/resources, you'll find there's actually quite a long list of resources there, both with social media accounts to follow, books to read, podcasts to listen to, courses to take. There's probably the main categories in the resources. So they're all things that I have read, done, listened to, they personal recommendations, I suppose. There's nothing on there that I haven't done or tried or listened to or read myself. I'm pretty sure there's not anyway. So definitely check out those resources. In terms of the resources that I can offer, I think the podcast is a clear winner. I do have my book, which I've talked about a little bit in each episode. You can see I'm pointing to it if you're watching on YouTube. Let's Talk Thyroid. It's called Let's Talk Thyroid. It's all about living a thyroid-friendly lifestyle, positively and practically. So it's very user-friendly. It's very easy to read. You can pick up and put it down. You can, if you're working on food, you can work on the food chapter. So, I'm a life coach, a health coach. I take a coaching style approach in the book. So I want you to actually integrate what I'm talking about, and I want you to try things. So it's definitely written from a coaching perspective. So there's that. I do have something that is coming up on very soon now, actually. On the 1st of June, I'm running a 5-day Write Your Thyroid Story challenge. So if you go to Let's Talk Thyroid /thyroid-story, you'll find the information to that. At the time of recording, I haven't set that up yet. But I will have set it up by the time you're listening to this. So if you go to letstalkthyroid.com /thyroid-story, you'll find the information for the 5-day challenge. We will be working through this little guidebook. It's a workbook I put together last year called Write Your Thyroid Story. Connect the dots of your thyroid story and start your healing journey. So the 5-day challenge, it's going to be free. The challenge is free. If you want to buy the workbook from Amazon, you can, or you can download it and print it yourself from my website. So there's a small fee associated with that, but the actual challenge itself is free. I guess you can try to do the activities without the workbook. That is probably less desirable, but definitely possible, because the idea is that over that 5 days, I want you to be able to really kind of look back. So I'll tell you what we work through is like a history, your family history, medical history, your personal medical history, bit of a timeline of things like major events. So we're looking for things that might have contributed to your thyroid condition. Then we look at your diagnosis, like symptoms that you've experienced, how you've been diagnosed. There's spots in there to write, blood test results. Then we move on to management. How have you been managing your thyroid condition? So you can put it all in one spot. With maybe it's supplements, or maybe you've tried some dietary changes. Maybe you've worked on boundaries and stress management. Maybe you've been building your support team. So there's information like you can add your support team in there. And then it's about writing your thyroid story, connecting all of those dots and just writing out your thyroid story, which in itself is very healing. Like there's something very powerful about writing a story. And it doesn't have to be long. Maybe it's a paragraph. Maybe it's 10 pages. Maybe it's a whole book, but that's certainly not, you're not going to write a book in a 5-day challenge. But I want you to be able to have your thyroid story, past, present, and future. Like what are the things that you're wanting to work on next? Like what are the priorities next in your thyroid journey? Because when you connect all those dots, you do begin to heal, and you see the areas in your life that need healing or need more focus, and you see the areas in your life where you've already made good progress. So I really believe that part of thyroid awareness is building your own, is in you being able to write and share and talk about your own thyroid story, even if it's just with your practitioners, even if you never talk to anybody else, but you do need to be able to explain it to your health practitioners. To have it all in one spot, I think is really helpful. That's why I wrote the little workbook, and this is the first time I'll have run the challenge, but I really think it's going to be quite powerful for you, and I would love you to be part of that. And then beyond that, in the middle of June, I'm going to be launching my Kiss and Make Up with Your Thyroid 8-week coaching program. So stay tuned for that information too. It's like a new and revamped version of my Kickstart Your Thyroid-Friendly Wellness program. So yeah, lots on, but I actually wore these earrings for a purpose for this video. These are my little lip earrings. And one of the things that I really talk about a lot is KISS, keep it super simple. So KISS and make up with your thyroid. Keep it super simple. I know I've just rattled off a whole lot of resources and programs and things that are coming up, but when it comes to thyroid health and managing it well in the long run, you need to hold in balance. There's a lot of complexity, but you also need to keep it super simple. And that's just a tension that we've got to hold together. It is complex. There's lots going on. You can't deal with it all at once. Okay, so let's keep it super simple. Let's pare it back. What's the one thing I'm working on at the moment? What's one thing I can do today that's going to be proactive towards my health management? And so that's why I wore my little lip earrings. So if you're not watching this if you're just listening, you'll have to imagine I've got these cool earrings with big lips that remind me to keep it super simple, and hopefully they'll remind you to keep it super simple. So I wish you all the very best with your thyroid journey. I hope we can stay connected, but if not, that's okay. I send you off on your happy thyroid journey, and I want to really thank you for being part of Thyroid Awareness Month. This month, recording in 2023, May 2023, which is Thyroid Awareness Month in Australia. So I really want to thank you for being part of it. Have a fabulous day and see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Let's Talk Thyroid. If you have enjoyed the content, or perhaps you're thinking, oh, my mum needs to hear this, or my sister or my bestie, I would love it if you would share this episode with them. That really just helps spread the positive and practical message of Let's Talk Thyroid, and helps that broader thyroid community, our friends and family, to live well with their thyroid health. So you can just, share the episode. If you subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast, it's free. It's really helpful because then you'll be notified every time a new podcast comes out, and it just makes it much easier to find. There's usually a little subscribe button or a bell, or follow often is the terminology. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, that would be helpful. Of course, if you want to leave a review, even better, just a sentence or two about how the podcast has helped you. You can definitely connect with me via letstalkthyroid.com. That's where you'll find access to my book, my coaching, my freebies, and really everything that I offer in terms of thyroid support.